Hi everybody, it is Dragyn, back with some video content. What is this? The music might be very quiet, but that's kind of the point, because I'm doing a Dragyn Reads kind of thing for this video, and I have lovely, amazing friends of mine that really enjoy me reading different articles and things like that to them, kind of like before bed. So this is a very chill, low stress kind of video to help you guys relax and enjoy the sound of my voice, which apparently people like. So let's get right into it. Today I will be reading a GeorgeTakai.com article because he finds the best things to post, and so I think you guys will enjoy it. Some of them are weird, some of them are serious, some of them are sad, but I really like them, and we're going to start today with people explain which unrealistic movie tropes annoy them the most. We all have that, right? Like the damsel in distress, for example, or like the popular sport boy falls in love with the cheerleader, those kinds of things. So we're going to read what people have said about it. Okay, so let's see here. I will start with the story wasn't in the budget. The bit in a car chase where somebody on a bike does a cool slide under something and just carries on. I've done a not cool version of that, and what actually happens is your left leg is pinned between tarmac and a quarter of a ton of hot metal. You aren't walking it off, and the bike is ruined because you just ripped off the gear lever. That does not sound fun. Oof, yikes. Yikes, yikes, yikes. Next story is nice hacking, dude. So the story starts. Give me a second. These firewalls are practically unbreakable. Let me just bypass the aggressive typing. Now and I'm in. Slams the enter key and turns to the protagonist with a grin. I wish hacking a multi-million-dollar security system was that easy. We'd all be rich. I agree. We'd all be, rich if we could all just easily just clickety-clack and, move forward. Okay. And this next one is just called Clear. Next little story is Clear. So, hospital shows where they shock a flat line. It's a non-shockable rhythm, and the patients miraculously pick up a rhythm after 1 to 2 shocks and the patient is awake and talking. I also get angry when they run through 30 seconds of compressions and then call it. So, in real life, I think what their point here is just saying that, like, it's not really realistic to just be like, hey, they're awake and they can just immediately talk after, they're shocked back to life. It's a process because your body's healing from being shocked and, like, whatever caused your heart to stop. So, yeah, that's a trope as well that kind of is crazy. Okay? And, ooh, guys, it's almost 3 a.m. I did not expect car traffic, so I apologize if you can hear some of that. My bad. But next story on the site for unrealistic movie tropes is the timing was bad. So this is the moment when the hero misses the perfect opportunity to kill the villain like 100 times. Then the villain does something to the hero's family, and all of a sudden the hero decides to make it his life's mission to kill the villain. Yeah, this is also why I'm not really big into superhero movies and things like that, because it's the same thing over and over, where that happens. They target a loved one, they target a family, they target something very personal, and yeah, I get it. You're like, in life we always get targeted from personal things and we want to fight back against it, but like, it's also like, it's so overplayed. Find something else to do. Find some other way to make a villain hero story interesting. Okay. Next movie trope is all about the clang, baby. So this is sword fighting. Okay. So sword fighting in movies, which is just the very large swings, turning around, half swording, and hitting each other's sword to make a nice clang. So that clang sound. Yeah, yeah. And then it continues, because it's more sensory data that puts you into a scene you would otherwise be removed from, especially useful when the scenes change. Ever notice how often horse sounds are used in cuts where the sound precedes the visuals? So yeah, a lot of movies will put those extra kind of unnecessary sounds just to be like, hey, this is like an auditory transition. So we're going to switch, or like we're going to switch perspective of the fight, or we're going to be like, hey, they rode a horse, let's make a horse sound. Those kinds of things. Okay, fair. Alright, now this one is called, hey, can we talk about all the other people in the circle? Question mark. So this is when two people walk 5 feet away from the group and have a conversation at full volume, yet somehow no one in the group can seem to hear anymore. Alternately, two people in a crowded nightclub having a casual conversation without raising their voices. Yeah, like, what? I have been to many, like, pubs and restaurants and places with, like, groups of people, and we always have to constantly raise our voices and just to be heard because of the music, and everybody else is being loud. So, yeah, that's definitely a pet peeve in movies. It's like, how do you do that? It's not fair. Oh, yes, this one is a good one, too, my friends. Catastrophes only come in threes. They only come in threes. Every time a group of people is looking at a map or a diagram or graph, the leader or the scientist or the genius says here and here and here 3 times. Always. Who does that? Alright. Points to the list of movies. You can see examples of this here, here, and here. So like listing things in threes always. Now, yeah, that can be annoying if it's used a lot in a movie, but the power of 3 or the rule of 3 is actually used in persuasive writing just to kind of like convince things, so it's not like weird for a movie to have that. But if it's used way too much, then it can be like, okay, we get it. I get it. A very famous speech that you guys should all look up is Martin Luther King Jr. speech, where he has the I have a dream speech, because he repeats that phrase or something about a dream like in threes for persuasive writing. So just, yeah, maybe I'll do a recording of that one for you all. Who knows? Okay. And this one, oh my god, yes, this one, it drives me nuts too. The story is called Guess Alcoholics Are Different in LA. People being alcoholics and yet having a perfect body. No kidding. So this guy is an alcoholic here. Often alcoholics will not eat for long periods of time because anything that's in your stomach detracts from the effectiveness of your alcohol. I lose a ton of weight when I'm going through a long bout of drinking. So yeah, when the whole process too of just even like getting yourself off of alcohol and like just suddenly quitting cold turkey, there's no way your body stays naturally healthy during that. And yet people are just different in LA, I guess. Yeah. Another story here was called Was in the Budget. So massive breakfast made and family or family members rushes out with a piece of toast. Yeah, why? You've got this beautiful breakfast dinner in front of you. Eat it, but then they all like ignore their food and just grab toast and run out. Why? Why do shows and TV and movies do that? I have no idea, man. And then the story continues. Family breakfast in general. Maybe it's just me, but I don't know anyone who wakes up, has time to get dressed, ready, kids ready, and then sit down to a massive family breakfast before their day starts, unless they were up at like 5:30 a.m. Dude, for real. What? This movie trope's called Hey Guys, I Bought Baguettes. I always get baguettes. I love baguettes. Every single person who buys groceries has a random baguette sticking out of the bag. Honorable mention, the carrot and its leaves sticking out, right? So every single person that does a grocery run has like the piece of baguette or like a carrot or something that you can identify immediately, and we're like, really? Do you get that every single grocery trip? I don't know. I can see baguette if you're doing like a fancy like garlic bread or something, but nah. Boom roasted. Oh, explosions. Fireballs are from pyrotechnics and they look cool, but they look nothing like real explosions from bombs or grenades in real life. And they launched 10 people 10 feet. They launched people 10 feet away for no reason. And then I'm in school for video effects, and my dynamics teacher told us that you can make the most realistic simulation possible that adheres to physics and natural law, and your supervisor will lean over your shoulder and go, "Make it look cooler." Damn. Damn. Imagine entire scenes dedicated to ears ringing. Firing a weapon and continuing with your conversation? Yeah, unrealistic. And that's a big one. Fire a gun inside your car and you aren't hearing for a while. I was at an indoor firing range for a rifle once, and even with earplugs and earmuffs, my ears still hurt. Yeah, like, that's also kind of an unrealistic thing in movies. Alright, the cat's gonna get out! Like, all the freaking out. Oh no, the cat's gonna get out! That's the name of the next story. I've noticed in a lot of movies they will let someone into their house but don't shut the front door. Also, no one ever shuts a gate. I was raised in the country with animals. Shutting gates was drilled into me a whole lot deeper than table manners. Are these people insane? And folks answer the door when someone knocks like they were standing right beside it. Yeah? What is up with that, man? Like, and then the whole thing where, like, a family, like, rushes out of the house and leave the door open, or they somehow leave some sort of, like, thing on all the time, and you're like, does that just turn off? Like, what? It's such a waste of resources. Stop it. Okay, next one here for this story is, what about the dweebs? So, this story has to do with how male scientists look like mad scientists, and female scientists are all like supermodels. Yeah, I promise you, all scientists do not look like either or. Drives me nuts. Where's the unkempt ladies in pajamas with crazy hair, and a wall of animal cages, and stacks of paper, and test tubes everywhere who yammer on about formulas and cats? I feel underrepresented. That's fair. That's very, very fair. Very, very fair. So, next one here, they crunched the numbers off screen. Kind of related to the science thing. If there's something a movie can't explain, it's always a nano or quantum whatever, like because it's a nanosuit that's going to explain why the protagonist can fly. But really, there should be some more like realistic scientific explanation as to why something like that can happen. And then this one makes me giggle. It's called "A Vomit is Not Heroic." Movies don't understand how squishy our brains are and how easily we get concussions. Like most action movies, when the hero survives a fall, or Iron Man landing really hard, a lot of car wrecks and so on. In reality, you should have probably ended up in the protagonist being dizzy and throwing up. Like a real, like, hardcore concussion, or like some kind of shock to the system. Yeah, I agree, man. And in movies, this one's called No Respect for Rigor Mortis. So, people found dead with their mouth and eyes closed, looking like they're sleeping. Yeah, that's not how it works. Yeah, first time, only time so far, I saw someone die. We went to close their eyes, but nope. I hadn't realized it wasn't like the movies. I imagine they do it so the actors can get a break from trying not to blink while playing dead. And you'd have to resuscitate if you find someone. Only a doctor can actually make a decision. And they don't just touch the aorta for 3 seconds and announce he's dead, Jim. Yeah, I mean, that's true. That's very, very true. Internal bleeding, be damned. Fight scenes. Most real fights are over in like 30 seconds. In movies and TV, they take several kicks to the head, kidney punches, the odd chair broken over your back, maybe getting choked, even getting stabbed, and presto, they still keep on fighting like nothing's happened. Usually, they're completely unaffected and doing something that would be impossible to do just seconds after. Yeah, I mean, it's unrealistic, but you also have to realize that actors are not, like, necessarily always physically trained to do these fights, so part of that can be explained by stunt doubles. But it is still like, hey man, if I got in a fight, I'd be, like, wrecked for weeks. Totally, though. Okay. Alright. Now, this story, the next one, set in a time of efficient bureaucracy. So this is how quickly the court systems work in movies. Usually it takes months, if not years, to settle most major crimes in court. And how fast they can do forensics. A lot of places having things sent out to a lab or specialist, and it usually takes longer than 5 minutes. Yeah, I mean, again, the limitations of airtime on TV and movies, again, kind of affects that, but when you think about a real life crime lab or anything like that, it's like, it would take a lot longer. I think TV shows do a little bit better at showing that, because they've got more airtime to kind of show, like, I still don't have the results yet, we're backed up in the lab, and blah blah blah, but even then it's still like 5 minutes later in the scene. Okay, and our last story for today is a nosedive down the poop tubes. What? I'm sorry, I'm not going to even read the story for a moment. I'm going to read that title again. A nosedive down the poop tubes. Okay, now we've let that thought sink for a bit. Let's actually read the story. This is where someone takes a laxative, and the laxatives take effect in like 3 seconds. Well, maybe not 3 seconds, but I can have a cup of joe, and 5 minutes later I'll be running for the throne. Yeah, like the immediate effect of any kind of drug in shows is kind of crazy. I mean, sometimes it'll be like, yeah, my headache went away in like 30 minutes after I took that pill, but like, if you think about it, most drugs will take about 30 to 45 minutes to even an hour to really take an effect. Again, limitations of airtime, you can't really show that, but you could mention it, maybe like, oh yeah, I'm feeling better now, it's been like 10 minutes or something, and then it'll be a little more realistic, but I like that comment though. Maybe not 3 seconds, but I can have a cup of joe and 5 minutes later I'll be running for the throne. I feel that. I'm a huge coffee drinker, and yeah, some days you're like, ah crap, it's gonna be one of those days. I had freaking coffee again, I gotta pee, I gotta poop, and it's gonna be consistent for the whole morning. Maybe a little too much information to share there, but you know, that's kind of fair, man. Okay, but for me, now for my personal unrealistic movie trope is for me it's the jock and the popular girl, like the popular boy and the popular girl falling in love. That's not always the case. Yeah, I know there are some romantic stories out there that you hear about those kinds of relationships happening, but I don't think they always happen, or they don't always last. So for me, that's unrealistic. I think people fall in love based on their similarities, even their opposites, and it will be a beautiful connection and it'll blossom, but it's not always going to be a popular guy and popular girl, or a nerdy guy and nerdy girl. It's going to be a mixture. Most couples are a mixture of all of that. So that is my unrealistic movie trope that kind of annoys me. It's always those movies where it's like they are fated to fall in love, when in reality I don't think it's always like that. So yeah, that is my first little GeorgeTakai.com reading. I will post a link to the article if you want to take a look at it, and or you want to take a look at his website for more things. He's got different like tabs like bio, trending, the fields, LGBT plus, opinion, video, George's picks, those kinds of things. So I'm no way sponsored by him. I just really like reading the articles because they are kind of fun and I enjoy them. So I hope you enjoyed this as well. Let me know your annoying, unrealistic movie trope in the comments, and I will do another one of these later. Okay, goodbye everybody, stay golden, I love you, be safe, and